sunny spaces, smiling faces, happy places. But every sunny space holds a shadow. Behind every smile are sharp teeth. And every happy place has something sinister lurking just below the surface.
Welcome to We Saw the Devil, the podcast diving deep into the chilling realms of true crime. Join your host Robin as she unravels mysteries that have left investigators baffled and armchair sleuths obsessed. Be forewarned, dear listener. We Saw the Devil is not for the faint of heart. Our unflinching exploration will take you to the darkest corners of the psyche and through the unimaginable depths of human darkness to unearth stark secrets to the harsh light of day. Nothing will be left untouched. Are you ready? Are you sure? We saw the devil.
Hello, everyone. You are listening to We Saw the Devil. This is Robin, and as promised, I have brought back a fan favorite, Iris.
Hello, hi, hello, podcasters, listeners. Hey, how's it going?
Uh,
Been a long time.
Everyone loves you. Like people at random will be like, "When's Iris coming back?" It's
Oh,
like,
that's
okay.
so sweet. I love it. Life has just gotten so in the way lately.
I completely understand. Every year, for those of you who don't know, or if this is your first time listening, Iris and I go way, 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 way back to the days of horror podcasting, and we share a mutual love there.
Yes, we do, and it's nice to be able to talk about the movies that both of us share that spectrum of hardcore horror, which I love.
And I love that this episode that we're doing is the antithesis of what you and I are actually generally into.
I know. And it'll be interesting to discuss of where's the beer drinkers are, or the milk drinkers even. Because
yeah,
one of these movies was completely milk drinker, but whatever.
Yes. But I'm excited to talk about it. It has been too long, and you're coming back again, I believe, before the end of the month.
Yeah. I would love to. And, I'm here for you. Throw something on the table and I'll go, okay, let's do it.
Yeah, we have to find something redeeming after this last, after these choices.
Please.
So I've known Iris for a long time, and Iris has actually been on multiple true crime episodes as well. Because Iris, what is your background?
Well, my background was I was an autopsy technician for a medical examiner's office. I do have that background, and I'm just a law nerd and all that. So it's fun to talk crime.
And you have a military background and a nerdy coder background.
So. Yeah, I'm a little bit of everything, I guess. And I'm also a urban farmer. I mean, all kinds of things. It's fun.
I'm so jealous. I really wish I could just be an urban farmer with a little farm, but living my dream, girl, living my dream. But because it is October, I invited Iris to come back so we could talk movies again, shoot the shit. And so, as per the format, we each pick a movie and we watch it and review. For this episode, I picked the one movie that has actually scared me. I don't know why. If you know me, you know that I have nothing really actually scares me whatsoever except for demonic possession, things like that. I'm a non-believer, but yet it still terrifies me. Make it make sense. So my choice. Yes.
I think it's because so let's take the analogy of a little kid, right? A little kid knows that when it sees a human face, 2 eyes, nose, mouth, the positions that are supposed to be in. But if you skew that just a little, the kid will be terrified. And I think it's the same thing, right? Because that demon possession thing skews humans just enough to make them terrifying.
It does. I don't like it. I feel like a little kid on stuff like that because it's like I'm a non-believer. No horror scares me, but you throw a demonic possession film in and I turn into a little pansy and I don't like it. This movie that I picked, The Dark and the Wicked, follows along those lines, and I consider it probably the scariest movie I've ever seen. We'll get into that later. And then Iris, you picked something as well. What did you pick?
I picked Rosemary's Baby in a Convent by the name of Immaculate, with just a dash of the first Omen movie thrown in.
That is the most accurate description I could have hoped for.
Because that's basically
Yes.
what it was. I was looking for an Italian movie, and this came up as Immaculate. And the only reason I think that Google thought it was Italian is because it has Italian actors in it. And I'd have to say about 1/3 of the script is Italian. It's in Italian. And I have to say some of the translation was kind of like a little off, but whatever. So I was like, yeah, this looks good. And then I have heard other people say Sydney Sweeney is, the next Scream Queen. Why people
I've
say
heard
that,
that
I
too.
don't know. I don't know why people say that.
Oh, ouch.
So yeah, I mean, is she cute? I guess in the next girl, the girl next door type of way, and not the movie, but well, see, we should go to the classics. I thought that was going to be interesting. I mean, it could have gone somewhere really, really cool.
Yes. American Horror Story Asylum pieces.
Yes,
Could have
yes,
been. Like
yeah.
that grittiness and all that weirdness. I don't know why, but had they just kind of gone into a darker vein, I think it would have been an improvement.
But they kind of then went formulaic, and I was like, well, fuck.
You could see everything that was happening. It was broadcast well before.
It was really. There wasn't even any jump scares. They tried to do body horror, but it was so I don't know. If you guys have heard Robin and I talk about, horror movies, you will get the reference. But this is what we call milk drinker horror. It's a thriller to me. This was a thriller. It really wasn't horror. And
100%.
they were trying to do like body horror and all that, but it was just so weak. They think, well, let's throw some nuns in a dark asylum and it's going to be spooky. Okay. Done that.
Okay.
The nun.
The nut, yes. But I think like going back to your point on the terms that we use, so Iris and I kind of operate, if you've seen Martyrs, French transgressive horror, that's kind of more my vein, right? Gory, hardcore, push limits, things like that, right? So we have different levels of horror. So when we think of just your basic teenager, 16 years old, going to the cinema on a Friday night, to me, that's more of like milk drinker horror.
Yeah.
Like you get a quick little thrill. It's not terribly scary. There's not really a lot of plot, like how would you describe it, Iris?
I agree completely. It's gonna be something like Amityville horror. That's milk drinker for me. The original, not the
Ryan Reynolds.
Or was it the other guy? Ryan Reynolds.
Right, Ryan Reynolds. Yep.
Ryan Reynolds. Not that one, but the original. Or a step up to that would make me. Okay, so a lot of people are not going to agree with me, but I think The Exorcist is also introductory.
Agreed. Jaws, The Exorcist, Rosemary's
Stuff
Baby,
like
but then even totally. And then even newer ones too. Like if we want like a more
Scream.
recent Scream, yes. I cannot stand Scream. All of the I Saw What You Did Last Summer, like all of those.
Yeah, that's all. Anything PG-13 is a milk drinker to me.
Yes. Same. I need a little bit more
The next step up would be like beer drinker, Texas Chainsaw Massacre, stuff a little bit more on that genre, right? I consider Prom Night, the original with Jamie Lee Curtis, as a beer drinker.
Interesting.
I love that movie. That was one of the first real stalker movies that I saw in the theater, because Halloween I watched on this thing called On TV, which used to be the very, very first basic cable TV that we had ever in the United States. But yeah, that was the very first one, and I fell in love with the genre of stalker movies.
Stalker movies are good. I have a thing for home invasion movies too. You can have both beer drinking and milk drinking movies even within the same franchise.
Yes.
So Halloween, right? I'm going to say it. I love the Rob Zombie Halloweens. I love them. I would consider those to be more beer drinker as opposed to the official franchise. Also the new ones that came out by David Gordon Green or whatever.
Evil Dies Tonight. Jesus.
Evil Dies Tonight.
That's
never been so angry in my life. Yes. That's more like a pacifier or milk of magnesia. I don't know, but so
Put the kid on the
we have
bone.
levels. Yes. Yes. Suffice it to say, Iris and I are a different breed
Yes,
than
we are.
most people.
Irreversible or irreversible in the original. That's
That was
absinthe.
hardcore. That is absinthe. If you want to go up, then we can do a Serbian film. Would be what?
Oh, that is tub gin. You know, the
Tub
kind of the shit that's gonna make you blind because it
Yeah,
has so much
yeah.
ethyl alcohol in it.
That would make sense. That would make sense. But yeah, suffice it to say, guys, Iris and I are a different breed, and I love having her come on to talk about movies. And it is Halloween, and I feel like I can get away with it. And plus, everyone loves you. So
Oh.
that's what we're doing. And today we have Immaculate with Sydney Sweeney, which came out this year
Yeah,
or last
2024.
year.
It was a
Yeah, last
2024
year.
film.
And then
But
Dark
go
the
ahead.
Wicked, my pick. So, Iris, I'm going to turn Immaculate. We're going to cover Immaculate first, and I will turn it over to you.
Okay. All right. So let's go into the data of this because, you know, we're both so data driven. Okay, so it was directed by Michael Mohan, and he was nominated for Daytime Emmy Awards for a children's singing a series of Ghost Rider. My kids used to watch Ghost Rider.
Oh.
So that makes sense now. Okay. Yeah, so like Robin said, Sydney Sweeney, we have Alvaro Morte, Bernadetta Parcoroli, Dora Romano, Giorgio. So you can see why I thought, oh, this is going to be a great Italian film. This is going to be good. No, it wasn't. And here's what gets to me, and Robin and I were discussing this a little bit before the film, and we're going to discuss this in this discussion too. The budget was $9 million for this, but worldwide,
Yeah.
it made $35 million compared to the next movie, which I think is superior than this. We'll talk about that. It just blows my mind, and I'm wondering if it was mostly because of Sydney Sweeney that everybody flocked to this.
I would say that's probably accurate, to be honest.
I don't know. There was just a lot of elements in this movie that, I don't know. Are we doing spoilers?
So let me preface this episode by saying that we are going to give all the spoilers for both of these films. So if you haven't seen Immaculate or The Dark and the Wicked and you plan to and don't want spoilers, stop now and circle back after. Otherwise, if you're probably never going to watch these and just enjoy hearing us talk, then please continue.
See, we do the hard stuff for you so you don't have to.
Exactly. Sifting through the dung heap. One movie at a time.
Yeah. Okay. So, yeah, let's get into it, shall we?
Yeah.
So basically, Sister Mary, which isn't that cute, Sister Mary? That should give you a clue. There's a young lady, and she has the beginning of the movies. It looks good, right? The beginning of the movie is great because I'm like, oh fuck yeah, it's gonna be one of those movies. The beginning of the movie, it starts off with this young nun. She gets up, sneaks into the room of obviously the keeper of the keys or the gate for the convent, grabs the keys, is able to get to the gate. She opens the big old first the doors to the convent, and she manages to run to the gate. And as soon as she gets to the gate, you know, the music starts and you're like, oh, fuck, there's something behind her. Because this is what the movie does. The music in the movie gives the jump scares away. And I fucking hate that. I'm sorry, but I just hate it. Gail turns around and there's, guess what? Nuns. And nuns in like a red cloak, but in their little habit, penguin habit thing, right? And don't get me wrong, I respect nuns. I work with nuns. I respect them dearly. But they're such a trope sometimes, man. They're such a trope. And so this poor girl's she finally unlocks the gate, but then the gate has a chain on him, which I was thinking, dude, undo the chain first. Fuck. She can't get the chain done, but she's trying to sneak past, and the music's building, and they grab her leg, and then you hear a snap because she was trying to get past them, and her leg was in one of the rungs of the gate, and they just snap. I was like, yes, okay. Good movie.
That one made me wince. I do not like broken bones. Yes.
It just goes down from there. So in comes Sister Cecilia. and she survived a drowning in a frozen lake or something and was dead for 6 to 7 minutes. And she is convinced that God saved her life for a purpose. So she becomes a novice, and then she receives this invitation from a Father Sal Tedeschi in basically to join a convent in Italy that they tend to dying nuns.
Mhm.
So
It's like hospice care for nuns.
yeah, it's hospice care for nuns. Exactly. And so she goes, she's like, yeah, I will go. So she gets there. This kid is obviously American. She doesn't know Italian very well, but she's trying to get, and she finally gets to the place, and then there is this other nun that's supposed to be taking her around, Sister Isabella, and it seems that she's kind of jealous. Basically, the movie takes off from there, and I'm pretty sure you guys can figure out where it's going. There is this one really cool aspect, and this is where I thought the movie was going to take off somewhere else, but then it kind of like drove back into the regular horror lanes, and I was kind of bummed. There is a relic at this convent, and it is the nail that was used to crucify Christ. And so she was asked to hold this nail by the Mother Superior. And when she does, she passes out. Next thing we know, poor Sister Cecilia has been blessed with a child, yet her hymen is untouched. And then I think you can kind of guess where the movie's going to go from there.
Yeah, it was not a shock.
No. I mean, it was interesting how the concept of they took the DNA off the nail, and Father Tedeschi, he was a geneticist that felt that the laws that the world has put in place because of things like this were too inhibiting. So he decided to become a priest where nobody was going to basically be monitoring his experiments, and what they've tried to do is basically Jurassic Park, but with Jesus's DNA.
Mhm. I love the Jurassic Park addition to this because that is true.
And we go from there. Basically, the Sister Cecilia finding out. She tries to, oh, this part was good though. When she tries to fake the miscarriage by killing, by bleeding a fucking chicken all over herself.
Yes.
And then, and then she tries to run away from them, and they grab her and they put her back. They burned a crucifix into both of her feet, exactly the same crucifix as she saw another nun that was old and dying had on her feet. So it kind of gives you an idea of how long this has been going on, which is a huge plot hole because that sister is no how could have been impregnated because her system wouldn't do it. And if she did try to run when she was young, it doesn't make sense. But whatevers. But that's basically it. Eventually, she does give birth. She destroys the lab, and
At least the kill scenes were very I can't English today.
you can't English to that? That's all right.
I
English
can't
for ya.
English. So the way that she kills them, so she ends up using the nail to stab Tedeschi in the throat.
Yes.
She sets fire to the laboratory as her water breaks. And then I love that she killed Mother Superior with the metal crucifix.
Yes.
And then she strangled the cardinal with her rosary beads. The sacrilegiousness of it, I really appreciated.
And that was much appreciated. And then the ending was good, but very telegraphed, I guess, because you knew that's what she was going to do to the baby.
You knew exactly what she was going to do with the baby. Of course, the baby that she had was some sort of weird monster.
And they didn't show it though, and I wish they would have shown the baby.
Do you think that would have been disappointing or no?
I think it would have been more horrific if it would have been, kind of like not a real baby. What am I trying to say? A natural, like the perfect baby. Had she had that, because and then of course that touch of her biting the umbilical cord. I was like, okay, well, we knew that was gonna happen. Had it been the perfect baby and she would have crushed it with the rock anyway, that would have been horrific.
That would have been very Midsommar.
Or even better, used the fucking nail.
Oh, Jesus. Yeah. Yes. I mean, I realize that this film was a piss poor attempt to basically is like a critique of the patriarchy and religion was kind of, how it was framed as. But I didn't like this at all. Like, I did not really care for this movie at all. It did not do it for me. You can see every twist a mile away. The acting, to your point, I've heard the same thing, that Sydney Sweeney is supposedly the up and coming new Scream queen and whatnot. No,
I don't see it.
absolutely not. That spot is solely reserved for Samara Weaving.
Mhm.
Thank you.
Yeah. Well, it's kind of like I said at the beginning, it's Rosemary's Baby in a convent, because it's basically what it is. This chick has been impregnated with the DNA of Christ, I guess, if you want to call it, and
Mhm.
they think that she's a great thing. Oh, and then here's something. I went and I Googled Saint Cecilia, because at one point the nuns are saying, Benedicta, Santa Cecilia, stuff like that. And I was like, whoa, who is this Saint Cecilia? So basically she was a martyr back in, I think, during the time of Nero, I think. They stabbed her in the neck 3 times with a sword. Okay, so here's the threes. She lived for 3 days and then asked the Pope of the time, which was in 235 AD, to make her house a church. So I was like, okay, so there's no tie for her in this one.
Interesting.
Yeah, because I was hoping that there would be, or that there was a reason why she was called Cecilia. But I mean, she was never married. The saint was. So I'm not sure. And I was like, well, maybe she was drowned. No, she was not drowned. That would have been interesting because, she almost died by drowning. And she's the patron of musicians.
Oh, interesting.
So why pick Cecilia? But whatever. But anyway,
Either we're missing something or they just did not put in the work.
I'm kind of thinking that they just didn't put in the work. Oh, and she was a virgin martyr. Maybe that's the only thing that ties these two together. And that's it.
Well, I guess there we have it. They picked the first virgin saint that they came across.
I guess. I don't know. I guess the sprinkles of the omen, of course, is I don't want to call it switching of the babies, but, the child coming in the omen, and the very first omen, the one with Gregory Peck, the baby that was given to them, which was, the little Antichrist, it was born from a jackal. This one wasn't even born from anything. It was taken from DNA from the nail. And then, of course, it would have been a better touch to have Sister Isabella hang herself instead of jumping,
I mean, that's a throwback to the Omen.
Yeah, because it would have been a better throwback to the Omen. But that whole thing there and her saying it should have been me, that's what starts Cecilia going, what the fuck she mean by should have been me?
She was jealous.
Yep. And now you can tell why she was the animosity between those two. I mean, the movie does have a way of tying up its loose ends, but in a very sloppy, not, I'm trying to learn how to tie my shoes way.
I completely agree with you. That's a good way to articulate that. Are we ready to rate it?
I think so, because there's really not much to talk about this movie.
I'll go first since it was your pick. I'll go first and you can tie it up. I give it out of 5. Are we doing out of 5?
Yeah, let's do that.
I give it a 2.
You're gracious.
I give it a 2.
Okay. Any reasons why?
I just feel like it was so predictable. Sydney Sweeney, I think that the only reason that she's getting so much love is she has big eyes and she can cry really well. Like, she's a very successful and good crier and emoter, I think. She can emote really well with her eyes and a, decent crier. She's not a Claire Danes ugly crier, but her acting is not that great.
To be fair, there was not a lot of acting to be done in this movie, though.
That is true. That is also true. And I have not seen her in Euphoria. I still haven't seen Euphoria, so I can't judge her as an actress overall. If this had been I guess this kind of was my first exposure to her, was not impressed. Initially, like you, I thought, okay, well, this is off to a good start. The atmosphere is, kind of cool. But I still prefer, if we're going to do a nun thing, the nun one to me is the most superior in terms of vibe, ambiance, setting, the feeling. I mean, it literally feels like you're on a set of a classic castle from, of Dracula, like an OG horror film. But this one just fell flat for me on all sides.
Yeah, even the atmosphere in this was not conducive. The music in the movie, first of all, gave away the plot. it gave away what was coming next. So
Mm-hmm.
any of the jump scares that they were trying to do very fell flat because one, you almost something's coming, and then it was also extremely predictable, like when the priest catches up to her, when the nun is standing behind her. It was extremely predictable. I'll be gracious too. I'm going to give this a 2 because every movie deserves to be seen because somebody put time and effort into it, right? Luckily, Robin and I have seen it for you.
Yeah. Yes.
So you don't have to.
That was a movie.
Yeah, that was a movie. As in terms for atmosphere and all that, like I was saying, it just didn't give it to you. I think what they were leaning on was this is a convent, this is nuns. Nuns are spooky. People think nuns are spooky, and maybe because I don't think nuns are spooky,
Me either.
and maybe that's why it just didn't hit the way it would hit somebody else.
I think that they were
And
trying to
yeah,
play on so many horror tropes and things that
yes.
people are scared of. They tried to kind of work on the goodwill of the audience a bit too much.
Hmm,
And
hmm.
I think for a lot of people, it's just going to fall flat. Like, unless you have an aversion to nuns, this is not scary.
Yeah, it's just not. It's more of a thriller. Robin said, if I had to compare this to the nun would be a 6, okay? Of
Oh my god,
5.
the nun for me would be yeah, the nun for me would be a 7 out of 5 in comparison to this. It's
Yeah.
just
So,
it's a no. So, safe to say we can agree that this is a skip.
yeah, this is a skip.
Moving on then to the other choice, which is my choice, The Dark and the Wicked. I guess I'll get into the specs of it really quick. So,
Mhm.
The Dark and the Wicked is directed by Brian Bertino, who also is responsible for the entirety of the Strangers
Ooh,
franchise.
okay.
All the movies, the original movie, that was his brainchild, all of the additional movies that came out, and then also had a hand in the TV show as well, like the little mini series that came out. So this is his home invasion is kind of his bread and butter. The cinematography, which I think is super important because this to me is an absolute master fucking class in cinematography. Cinematographer is Toby Oliver. The setting here. So the setting is a remote Texas farmhouse, miles from the nearest neighbor, surrounded just by fields and goats. The setup here is 2 siblings, Louise and Michael, return to their remote Texas family farm because their father is dying. We don't know why he's dying. We don't know what's wrong with him, but dad's dying and they have to come home. Their mother's alive and she's like, you should leave. You shouldn't have come. You shouldn't have come. And their mom was super cold, hostile, and just isn't very communicative. Like things are off, right? She's acting
Mhm.
erratically, but we don't know what's going on. Long story short, and we can delve into it. Mom ends up committing suicide, and there is something evil, like an ancient, malevolent evil, something that's in the house. We don't know who it's attached to, if it's the dad, but basically all hell breaks loose in this house,
Literally.
quite literally. And more or less, this movie is 95 minutes of watching 2 people realize that they are completely doomed. To me, it's terrifying. It is absolutely terrifying. So, I guess like first impression.
The first impression of this movie was great. I like to watch trailers because I like to see is it going to give away the whole movie or not. The trailer for this was superb, I have to say.
Mhm.
When the mom is chopping the veggies and you hear the scraping of the chair, she turns
Mhm.
around and the chair has been turned around. Like, haunted house. Oh, I love this. Because,
Is that when you messaged me I love a good haunted house?
yes, yes.
Gotcha.
I love a good haunted house movie because it's so much fun, because it's such a mind fuck. And I think that's what I love about these movies. That's why I think Irreversible is one of my favorites because it's a complete mind fuck.
Yes.
I'm all in. So I started watching the movie and it is so the atmosphere, kind of like how you said, it is extremely oppressive.
To me, this movie should literally be on masterclass for horror because you have the setting, which was a farmhouse in the middle of an open like prairie field. When you
Hmm.
hear the wind, wide shots for the most part, right? Just scaling, seeing, just kind of emphasizing that just isolation, right, of where
Yes.
they are. And the landscape itself is pretty much dead. Like you're in
Hmm.
Texas, so almost everything around them is dead, minus some grass and so forth. And the color palette is super desaturated. The film itself, everything looks washed out. The
Yes.
characters, everything.
Yes, and about the only beautiful thing that you get to see is one of the sunsets
Mm-hmm.
that had just these beautiful colors, and when they have to burn the goats.
Yep.
That
Yep.
is the most striking palette. Oh, and then the bright red on the little girl that comes to say Charlie's dead.
Whew. Yes. Creepy. But
Mhm.
the technical aspect of this film is just brilliant. And the thing that drew me in the first 10 minutes was when Michael and Louise end up coming home. Iris and I were talking about this earlier, and she mentioned that it could have been a play because the setting is seriously just a farmhouse. The entire setting is this house. And the way that it's set up, within 10 minutes, people are sitting around a kitchen table or talking in the kitchen. And the camera kind of sits in one place and it's super observational. So it's just watching like slow zooms or it parks and watches, right? It's not quick cuts, it's just observational. And the way that they have it, everything is really dark. And so you'll have, say, a kitchen table sitting in the middle of the kitchen. And then the camera will be behind the characters, observing past them into areas of the house that they can't see. And
Yes.
so you'll see two dark doors, right? Like you'll see two pitch black door frames. The characters are, sitting at a table talking, not paying attention, talking to each other. And then the camera, the way that it's set up, your mind is constantly trying to fill in blanks of what's coming.
Exactly. And I think that's why one of the aspects that I really, really like about this movie. And also, it really captures that prairie homesteader type of feel, also of the
Mhm.
characters. You quickly get emotionally invested in those characters. You know, the mom, like you said, saying, well, you shouldn't have come here. So the two kids, they walk out because obviously this is their norm. They don't talk about things
Yeah.
because they're that old fashioned, you stuff your feelings because there's a lot of work to be done when we don't have time for that.
Yep.
Louise and Michael go and sit out on the porch, and the conversation that they have there while they're sitting on the porch is like, he goes, well, that went well. Louise says, well, maybe I should have gave her a hug, I don't know. And he goes, yeah, because that would have worked. So
Yeah.
it's obviously that this family does not express their emotions. They're not emotional with each other
At all.
at all. And it comes across. And it doesn't come across like overplayed or fake because you could see it. You could see that obviously the wife really loves the husband, mom and dad, and she's trying to do everything that she can for him, but that is how she expresses how much she loves him, right? So there's not that overtly I love you, which
Mhm.
I thought was fucking amazing at the very end when Louise tells her dad, I love you. Because I'm pretty sure that wasn't in their vernacular, right? It,
No.
it just
Yeah.
wasn't. That's another aspect I really, really loved about it. And like you said, it could have been a play because you really, you feel like you're sitting watching what's going on. You're not part of the plot. You're not part of the cinematography. You are not part of anything in this movie except for being an observer. And I
Yes.
love movies like this.
Same. One of my favorite shots actually of this, I guess, to kind of drive home the point of just this how the cinematography is that it's so simple and it doesn't rely on cheap CGI or jump scares or anything like that. In fact, there's only, like one or two in the entire movie. It's
Right.
simply that you're observing. And one of my favorite shots is, again, it's back in the kitchen and Louise. Now, mind you, when we say kids, the kids are like in their 30s. They're not actual
Yes.
kids.
Yes.
The children are in their 30s. So Louise is in the kitchen doing dishes, and she is on the far, 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 far right edge of the screen. Literally, you see her on the far, far right edge of the screen. The remaining 95% of the screen is the kitchen, the two black doorways, and so forth. The sound design, especially in horror, is so fucking important. In this one, there are a lot of long stretches that are completely silent, just ambient noise. So, with the kitchen scene, you hear Louise running the water and lightly scrubbing the dishes, but your mind, as you're watching this as an observer, just goes and starts examining every other piece of the screen. And then it utilizes the winds, and to your point, Iris, about it feeling like a farm homestead type of thing, like lots of wood creaking in the house, footsteps, distant animal noises, so that that you're kind of on a farm. I don't know, it's just the sound design of this movie is incredible.
It really was. And what I appreciate the cinematography and the direction, obviously, is that they let you observe. because they know that you are the observer, so they give you that time. Some people might see it as like, well, nothing's happening. Oh my God, there is so much happening,
Mm-hmm.
right? And I guess maybe it's how you come to a movie. Obviously, I enjoy plays a lot. I really, really dig plays because I like being that silent observer. And I do it in real life too. I walk into a situation or into a room or to a group of people. In my sociology background, I like to kind of stand back and observe. I like to observe the group dynamics, the dynamics in the room, the dynamics between people. So when I get a chance to do this with the film, I'm in heaven. And I really, really liked that they gave us the opportunity to be able to do that, because also what that does, knowing that what kind of movie this is, it lets your imagination fill in the holes. Unlike
Yep.
other movies that fucking spoon feed you everything, this one actually lets you fill in the holes. And I enjoy that.
Yes. Same. I really loved it. And I guess more of a synopsis is Louise and Michael arrive home. They talk to their mom, and she ends up, I believe it was the next day, chopping her fingers off. Chopping a finger off. She was just chopping carrots and then chopped her finger off. And then the next day, I believe she hung herself.
Yeah, they found her the next day,
Hmm.
because
Yep,
I think
in the
both of them
barn.
went to bed and she was still chopping fucking
She's
carrots,
still,
and then it was her finger.
yep, and then her finger, and then they saw that, and then they went outside, they couldn't find her, and then she was dead hanging in the barn. So mom is out of the picture now. So now it's Michael and Louise. And then typical haunted house stuff starts happening. They start getting phone calls from their mother. The creepy part to me is Michael. A lot of the homestead outdoor rural houses have nice big porches that people can sit out on, which I would kill for one. And Michael's sitting outside, but also looking out the window, he's starting to see his mother, his dead mother, standing in
Right.
the field in a white dress and then eventually naked.
Yeah, and see, here's one of the jump scares that I didn't mind was the light keeps getting turned on in the room he's sleeping in. He's like, "What the
Mhm.
fuck?" So he goes and turns off the light, closes his door, and there's, one of those weird little locks. It's like just a little piece of wood that so it's either vertical or horizontal. And of course, if it's horizontal, you're kind of locking the door, right? You're barring the door.
Mhm.
He goes back to bed. The light turns on, the door's open, and he's like, "What the fuck?" Because weird things, he's been feeling this weirdness because they found the mom's diary.
Journal.
Yeah, the
Yep.
journal, and they were reading through it, and some of the stuff that they were reading was kind of like a little fucked up.
A little
Um,
religious psychosis. And then at the very last
yes,
entry, she says he's coming.
he's coming, right? I don't know why he went to. I think he was hearing wolves and noises out there, and he parts the curtain in the room, and his mom is floating out there.
Levitating.
She's just levitating there, right? And then the camera, the camera's pointed out the window, and then you get a side view, a profile view of Michael, and it then kind of like pulls out. The mom is standing behind him.
Yep.
I was like,
Not a
oh,
fan.
that was so good. No, I don't know if you could call it a jump scare, really, but it was very well done because it was done quietly. It wasn't done with a lot of music. It wasn't done with theatrics, and it gets to you. It really,
Mhm.
really gets to you. And also when this one was very, very, I don't know, I guess if you watch a lot of horror films, you might have known it was coming. The shower scene.
With Michael?
No. With Louise. Louise is taking a shower. It's after mom has done her thing, and she has her eyes closed. And I'm like, oh fuck, she's gonna see something. And she turns her face, and it's her dad standing there. So she
Mhm.
starts yelling for Michael, and Michael comes in, and he's like, "Oh, whoa, you're," and she's saying, "It was dad. It was dad." And he's like, "You're crazy." Just
And he
stupid.
looks possessed. Like, he has white, silvery
Mhm.
eyes. He looks possessed. Like, you
And
can
does
tell
that head
something is
shake
not
that
right.
everybody does.
Yeah, the very quickly. That was a
But
good one.
yeah, those were the two that I very much enjoyed. But this movie is a complete mindfuck the whole way through.
I mean,
And I
they're
think
getting
the
phone calls, weird
mm,
things happen, and again, the sound design comes out on top here because when they're outside, it's silent, right? They don't
yep.
none of these people talk. There's not a lot of dialogue. You hear breathing, creaking wood floorboards, the silence of outside, and you're constantly just super cognizant and almost waiting for a jump scare. You know, like you have anxiety a lot.
Expecting it, right? But and it doesn't come, so there's the buildup, and when it finally does come, it's subtle.
It's so subtle. And then the soundtrack to this is almost entirely strings
Mm-hmm.
and droning sounds, right? Other films, sometimes when someone's having a panic attack or getting angry, you'll hear that kind of vibrational sound that gets louder and louder or stops. This movie has a lot of that as well, kind of like constant droning with some accents with strings. And I think it's super powerful the way they did that.
Yeah, and it was done in a way where they weren't giving away the
Now let's talk about the
know.
priest. Because this is what fucked me right up. So mom dies, dad's dying, and there is a nurse that comes to help take care of dad.
Mm-hmm.
And
Mm-hmm.
she's really sweet, but she's very religious, very spiritual. In the middle of all of this, in the middle of the night, a priest shows up at their door.
Well, first of all, the priest introduced
Oh,
himself
daytime.
as Michael was coming in, and he was at here's the interesting thing. He was standing outside of the gates to the property.
Mm-hmm.
And Michael shows up. Michael's truck is driving in. He's like, "Can I help you?" And he says, "I would like to talk to you and your sister, Louise. I have things to tell you." Now,
So
Robin,
creepy.
why was he waiting outside of the gate?
That
Was
threw
he
me for a
waiting
loop.
for an invitation?
Yes, he was. He actually asked for an invitation. He said, "I need you to ask me to come in." And I was like, "Okay, we're switching to vampires here." Because
Right. Did you? Okay,
notoriously
I'm glad you got
vampires.
that.
Yeah, like notoriously vampires need invitations. And I was about to be really mad. Like, please don't. No. Because I'm not a vampire person, y'all. But yeah, he needed an invitation.
Right. And well, and it's kind of like evil again, that metaphor, evil needs an invitation to come in, right? Whether it's a
Yep.
vampire or whatever, you need to invite evil into your life, which is basically
It's
what
true.
he did.
And he's, Louise and Michael, their parents weren't religious and didn't believe in any of it, right? So Louise and Michael, when they found the mom's diary, they're not thinking that Satan's coming or the devil's coming or a demon's coming.
Not at all.
And the priest, when he shows up, he says, quote, "Do you think the wolf cares if you believe he's a wolf, not if he finds you alone in the woods?" Remember when he gave her the phone number?
Yeah, he does give her. He hands her a card and says, "Well, this is what I talked to your mother," and then hands them a crucifix, which is the same that the mom had in her pocket. So it was obvious that he had been talking to her. So it wasn't, all made up. So you kind of tie that together as oh, okay.
And then
But
Louisa took that phone number that he gave her and called it. And it was a poor priest. It was a priest, but he'd never been in the state of Texas. He had no idea who Louisa, her mother, he had no idea who it was. And he had a daughter named Louise that killed herself. The priest that came to the farmhouse, right? The priest that came to the farmhouse obviously is evil. My vote is demonic, Satan, whatever. And then he gave her the phone number of this poor guy who lost a daughter named Louisa or named Louise. And when Louise calls this priest, this person, he I guess he wasn't a priest, but he was like, "I've never been to Texas and you sound just like my dead daughter."
yeah, and he was a priest, but I think he was a shamed priest because he ended up having a daughter while he was a priest.
Oh,
So
that's right. That's right. So it's literally this demonic entity fucking with everyone
everyone.
that he possibly can. It's crazy. And then he does the thing that sends me every time, Iris, is his voice changes. I can't do the voice changes. Cannot do it.
I mean, this guy, I'm not gonna say he's as good as Henry Kane of Poltergeist 2,
Yeah,
because
that's legendary.
that still gives me the creeps. It gave me creeps when I was a little girl. It gives me creeps now. Just saying his name. But he was creepy, and then of course he comes back at night and is telling them, "Come outside, come outside, come outside." And Louise is like, "No, don't go out there, Michael."
like in the middle of the night, and it's just so creepy, you guys.
Right. And
It's
he's
the
like, "Do
ambiance
you
of
need a
like the
rope?"
right. Ooh. Guys, it's creepy. It's creepy. Middle of the night, pitch black. Like it again hammers down the prairie, like rural Texas setting. So you hear the wind whipping and stuff, but it's just the priest standing outside asking them to come out, and you know he's evil.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, the interesting part of this film is that traditional horror structure is like they start out normal life. They establish the characters and who they are in the world.
Mm-hmm.
And then they have a supernatural intrusion, like something goes bad wrong. Then escalation, you have it's getting worse, getting worse, getting worse. And then you have the climax, which is where your heroes face off against evil, and then resolution, which typically someone important dies, someone important lives, happy ending, right? That's kind of traditional American horror movie culture. What
Indeed.
The Dark and the Wicked does, on the other hand, it takes away steps 4 and 5. So the climax and the resolution. There's no confrontation, there's no resolution, and no closure at all in this movie. There's
None.
no power of love moment. No, we're going to figure, Michael and Louise figuring out how they're going to beat the entity. None of that happens here.
No, Michael bails on her. He's like, "Fuck this, I'm going."
He's like, nope, fuck this. I have a wife and kids, and they're not worth it. So Michael ends up leaving and going home, and he walks into his house, and what happens, Iris?
Oh my God. So he walks into his house, he's looking for his kids and wife, and you're like, "Oh, fuck." And he can't find him, so he calls the wife's phone and he keeps walking towards it. Walks into the dining room or the kitchen where there's a little table. The two girls, obviously their throat's been slashed, and then when he comes around the corner, his wife has also slashed her throat, and I'm like, "Fuck! Whoa, this is harsh, right?" And then so of course the reason why he left was because of them, right? And well, he ends up taking his life too. And then what
He ends up
happens,
sitting in
Robin?
the floor. Oh God. He ends up sitting in the floor, slitting his own throat. And as he's dying, his wife and children that he thought he had seen dead disappear, and his wife and children come home.
So they basically walk in to see mom and dad, or dad basically has slit his throat.
Yep. It was a very almost the Mist moment of he's coming
Mhm.
home. You think there's going to be something. Nope. The demon thing is fucking with him, and he sees his wife and children dead, but they aren't dead. Spoiler alert. He kills himself, and then they can come in on him as he's taking his final breaths,
It's pretty fucked
because
up.
super fucking bleak. So what is our friend Louise doing while all of this is happening?
She is freaking out. And that nice little nurse who turned on a Virgin Mary candle and put it next to dad. And she's listening to the conversation between Louise and Michael, because Michael's like, "Fuck no, I'm gone, man. I've been driving all night. I'm not doing this." And Louise is like, "But what about me? I'm the last one. I'm the only I'm the only one left." And he's like, "Yeah, good luck with that." So she's freaking out, and while that's all happening, the poor
Poor
nurse,
nurse.
she's been knitting, and well, she gets taken over and ends up stabbing herself and with the needles, and attacks Louise and basically bashes her head in, to the point where she knocks her out, and then proceeds to take out her eyes with the needles,
Yes,
which
she
was
does.
predictive. That was predictive.
Anytime I see a knitting needle, I'm like, that's totally going for an eye.
Yeah, either an eye or inside the ear. One of the two.
Yes, yes, yes. Also inside the ear. Yes, you're correct.
Right? I never saw her stabbing herself, gutting herself with it, which was an interesting turn with it. But yeah. So then she dies as she's trying to walk out the door.
So then
So
it's just Louise and her dad.
yeah, and of course all kinds of funky things have happened. I mean, Charlie's killed himself because he sees Louise come in all naked, with stabs all over her, trying to cut herself. They've lost the goats because something scared the goats and killed it. Oh, I felt so bad about that little goat who came back.
Oh my God, that was so sad. So they have a goat farm, right? And they have a couple hundred goats, and then something scared all of the goats out. And then all of a sudden, I mean, it's actually a really cool shot, but the camera is up in the air, panning down, and it's just hundreds of dead goats on the ground.
Yeah. And the one that came back was missing a leg. It's so hard.
I know. It's so sad. So the grand finale of this film is literally Luisa's dad dying. He's dying. And there is a moment where she says, I love you as he's dying. And it didn't feel cheesy to me. Like
No.
it could have, but it didn't.
And then?
And then the thing that made me so mad. Imagine you're sitting down at a Michelin restaurant and you are having the best meal of your life and you're just so excited. They bring you the dessert. You get down to the last bite and there's a turd in it.
Oh wow, that's awesome. That's awesome. Very well explained.
Is that
Very well explained.
is that not what that was like? I'm talking about the
Yes.
last final 60 seconds of this movie.
Yes.
Involve her dad dies and it's all over and I'm like, okay, where's it gonna happen? It's a jump scare of possessed dad grabbing Louise
And biting her in the neck.
and biting her in the neck.
In the screen.
In screen.
That's
I yelled out loud. I yelled at my TV. I cursed my ancestors. Like, I don't know what else I can do. But that was a masterclass film to me. It ruined by the last 30 seconds.
Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. So Robin and I were talking about this prior to recording. And we're like, fuck that, right? But then when we started talking about maybe this, this could have been a play or something, then I thought, well, wait a minute. What if the writer, which is the director, who's doing such a good job directing this movie, what if that was not the ending, but the studio said, yeah, you know what? We're going to go with the typical dad's going to wake up and bite her because what you wrote maybe was not what, mainstream America likes to watch at the end of these movies.
I mean, it's true. I really don't know, but it made me so freaking mad. And then I didn't realize okay, well, I think your mind went vampire immediately, right? When the priest was asking to come in.
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Okay, mine too. And then also, I didn't realize until I looked on this later, a couple years ago after I saw it, they're actually like in when they go out to the barn when mom hangs herself. There's actually do you remember in Midsommar how when she starts heading there, it's the camera pans in the trees and there's like a silhouette of her dead sister in the trees?
Yes.
Okay, Dark and the Wicked had the same moment in the barn. It like 4 minutes in or so, you see the demon in amongst the goats.
You do because it pans. So it's in the front. You're seeing the two kids, the grown-ups, and behind them all the goats, and then there's this shadow of this thing behind them, and I'm like, oh.
Yeah, there's a shadow creature person, whatever it is, a couple times in the movie.
Mm.
And it's terrifying, but it looks like the new Nosferatu.
Yeah, it does.
And so do you think this was demonic or do you think it was a vampire?
I think it's demonic, to tell you the truth. Just the way the chairs were moving. It had a lot of those elements. Had it been a vampire, the lit candle for the Virgin Mary wouldn't have been a big deal.
That's true. Relying on other horror tropes to kind of give us the answer there.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I don't know, guys. This movie to me was like a 4.9 out of 5 until the end.
Exactly. This movie was like, wow, this is great. I haven't seen, good horror movie like this in a long while. And then it's like the writer got bored.
It's like the writer in the last, it's like in the last 7 to 10 minutes, the writer just said, I didn't get paid enough to finish this and walked away.
Yeah. So I'm like, okay, so yeah, the guy dies. Bye. I'm like,
I thought it was really good though, guys. Like, it is absolutely, in my opinion, even minus the ending, it is worth a watch. I mean, the atmospheric dread, the existential dread, the psychological dread. There are a handful of jump scares in it, but I think it's just so well made. But I love French horror because I don't really want a catharsis. Like the catharsis for me is watching heinous, horrible shit happen with no closure. I love that. I don't want the happy ending tied up with a bow. Like I'm completely fine with that.
Because life's not like that.
No, it's not. It's kind of an examination of grief, right? Like grief and
Yep.
depression and stuff like that. I love that. I live for it. And if I give you any note about this movie, watch it. It's well worth it. It's basically an Oscar film up until the last minute and a half.
It is. It is. And the acting in this it's minimalistic, but it packs a punch.
It does. It does. Everything
It-
about it, whether it's the setting, the sound design, the writing, the acting is superb.
yeah,
Um,
everything in this movie is a character. Everything. The
yes.
goats, the site itself, the farmhouse, everything, the homestead, everything is a character in this movie. And that's why I was my opinion is this would have been an awesome play if it hasn't been already.
Yeah, I completely concur. I think that they should try to make a stage version of this because it is intense. It is relentlessly bleak. Like it is bleak. The
Mhm.
script, the tone, the color palette, the setting, it is bleak and sad.
So I guess I'll go
What
into for my rating.
Yeah, go for your rating.
Okay. For all that I would give it a 4.9, but with that ending that was so disappointing, I'm gonna roll it back to it like a 3.8, almost a 4, because it was extremely enjoyable. I mean, I got invested into the characters so quickly.
With no backstory. Neither of the characters had full character arcs or backstory. We knew
No,
nothing. And that's what's so interesting is you know nothing about anyone in this movie.
but the setting itself tells you everything about them now. That they're
Mhm.
homesteaders. They don't talk about their feelings. They are the typical American Generation X family.
Yeah. I think 3.8 is fair. I mean, I'm the same way. This movie possibly it had the ending stuck. It would have been a 5 for me. Honestly,
Mhm.
this would be my favorite film. This would have topped Martyrs for me had they stuck the ending.
Whoa, that's something to say.
I know, I'm saying it, you heard it here first, but because of the ending, I have to agree. I think it's going to go down to like a 3.75.
Okay, cool, cool, cool.
Unfortunate.
It is. It really is unfortunate.
Watch it, guys. It is worth a watch. Just go into it knowing that you're going to be angry at what could have been.
Yeah, have one of those foam bricks so you can throw it at the TV, and then there you go.
Exactly. Oh, I need to invest in some of those. Have you watched anything else recently, Iris, outside of horror?
Outside of horror, well, I was interested in the Tron movie, but I hear shit reviews. What have I watched lately? God, I've been watching Foundation. That's been pretty interesting.
Does that have Jason Momoa in it or no?
No, that you're thinking of War Chief.
Yes. So Foundation is about what, on another planet, a
Yeah,
settlement,
so it's
or
basically the Isaac Asimov books, Foundation 1, 2, and 3. But I think it starts more on book 2, where the robots have been killed because they wanted to take over, and then there are these DNA rulers, the emperors, and one is called Dawn, Day, and Dusk. And Dawn, of course, is the young one. Day is the mature, and Dusk is the guy coming out.
Mhm.
And when, they move chairs, Dusk becomes Brother Darkness, which gets incinerated, and then the new Dawn, it's just this progressive thing. And it's really cool because it's kind of like, kind of like a snapshot of society, of how it works, where the privileged get to do whatever the fuck they want, and then there are the people that don't. And it's interesting. It's kind of like a little revolution and everything in there. But unless you're totally into Isaac Asimov and how he writes, it's not going to be very interesting.
Yeah, that
Um,
makes sense.
And then there's Invasion, which is kind of cool, but I only like it because of the actors in it. But I mean, that's it. That, and besides Love Is Blind, which I've been binging because it's got 3 different kinds on Netflix right now. Because I like to watch other people's drama and then think and look at my wife and go, I'm so glad we're not like that.
Oh my God, it makes you thankful, doesn't it? I never really got into Love Is Blind. I've watched most of them, but I kind of got over it. But I'm still on the 90-day train.
Oh
Definitely on
my
the
God.
90-day.
Mm.
Hunt for Love. All of
Hunt for
that.
Love was a joke. That one dude that was like, no, but I love you. But then, oh, you're rejecting me. I love you. You know what it reminded me of? You ever watched the movie Caveman with Ringo Starr and Barbara Bach?
I have not.
You need to. So Barbara Bach is the female that all the cavemen want to get with, right? And Ringo Starr is not the caveman that all the women want to get with. So there's this other guy named Atuk who is the big burly caveman. He's an Italian actor. And there's no English talking in this movie at all. So she, of course, wants to be with it and tells Atuk, take a hike. They kick him out of the cave. So he comes back with his little band of merry cavemen, and eventually the Atuk gets knocked down, and I think he gets eaten or something. I can't remember. And
Interesting.
then Barbara Bach, all of a sudden, because or who is Atuk? Oh no, I'm sorry. Atuk is Ringo Starr. Tunda is the big guy. So Tunda gets eaten, and then all of a sudden, all of the cavemen like Atuk, and then she comes over and says, "Oh, Atuk," trying totally to get with him, and that's what this guy reminded me of. Because first he was with Tiffany and was saying all these things, and then as soon as Tiffany said, "Hey, I got kids," he was like, "Whoa."
Yeah, and then he still used her and like led her on, talking shit
Mhm.
about her to what's her face? What was her? Elise.
Right, but then there's Elise who was ready to show Rob her ass for a kiss on the
Within like an hour.
within the first hour.
That sis needs some self-respect and some self-esteem. Like she
Oh,
seems like
she needs something.
whew, I feel bad for her. But did you see what part of what I love about 90 Day is that the internet, I don't have time or energy for it, but other people do. So they will find out
Yes,
everything they can about all of these
exactly.
people. And so it's constant drama streams coming. But I think the saddest one is, Carlos from Hunt for Love. So his
Mhm.
sister came out. He molested her. He and their father molested her as a child. And she tried to file charges against him and whatnot, but statute, and it was years ago, and so on and so forth.
Are you really?
That's yep. Allegedly, I mean, that's what she's come out and been very loud about it, about like what happened. But then Cole too, Cole the pilot, who was for
Mhm.
whatever one of my least favorite characters in the entire world is what's her face, Jennifer.
Jennifer. God,
Oh,
she's a hateful
the
bitch.
horrible. But Cole actually has stalking charges against him from 2 ex-girlfriends.
Oh, wow.
Yup.
Damn.
Like, I know, I was like, there's something wrong with him. There's something so fatally wrong with him. And then after the show started airing, that came out.
Wow. Yeah, see, that's what's interesting about that, right? Because I don't even have to watch the show to know what's going on because I can just
Yeah,
go to the
exactly.
plenty little synopsis things going, oh, okay.
Yeah, the Reddit, the subreddit, yeah, it
Mhm,
is
mhm, mhm, mhm.
primo.
Yeah, it's kinda like my guilty pleasure in the Sister Wives.
Oh god, I haven't. I watched the first couple of seasons of Sister Wives, and then I got just really Cody makes me want to bash my head into a door.
Oh, dude, did you know that he's on Special Forces and he only made it to 4 episodes?
Really?
Mhm.
Not surprising.
No, because he is such a
He is the worst.
misogynistic, narcissistic pig.
I guess on my side, the only 2 suggestions that I have for people to watch is started watching Billionaire Bunker on Netflix. It's a Spanish show, and it's
Mm.
almost like their answer to Fallout in a way.
Oh, fun.
It's not going to ruin the twist. It's a little cheesy at times. It's a little over the top, but Billionaires Bunker, guys, on Netflix. Check it out. 100%.
Okay.
And then the only other movie I've watched so far, I have not been able to do my 30 days to horror marathon, but I did finally manage to watch Dangerous Animals.
Oh, nice. What about what is the other one? Weapons. Been kind of interested in that one.
Which one is Weapons? I just recently
It's the one with the
watched that.
kids and the
Oh yeah, okay. Yeah,
kid
let me
horror.
actually,
I love
'cause
those.
I hated Weapons.
Oh, you
Hated
watched it?
Weapons. I did, yes. I hated Weapons. Watch it.
Oh,
We can talk on it in the next episode if you want to watch it.
yeah. Let's do that.
I'm happy to talk about it. Maybe you can convince me otherwise.
Okay.
Because, girl, why is it every time a horror movie comes out and it's so highly rated as the best of the year, I fucking hate it?
Because we have a different way of judging those movies.
Just, I mean, I'll give it, a little credit. It's a little bit better than normal, and I love Julia Garner, but no, I hated Weapons.
Okay. Well, yeah.
And Barbarian, too.
And which one?
Barbarian.
Okay, you want to do those two next, or two movies that
Have you-
Robin hates? Let's do those.
Did you see Barbarian?
No, see, that's the whole thing. I have kind of like you. I have not had time to really watch movies besides when I sit out in the living room with Lynn and we watch stuff. And she's not
Okay.
into horror, so
Okay, so next episode, let's do Zach Kreger, the director. He did both Barbarian and Weapons.
okay, Barbarian and Weapons. Okay, cool. Done and done.
Keep it easy on one director.
Okay.
Well, Iris, thank you so much for coming on. It's been a blast. I miss you.
No, I have missed being able to talk movies like this because it's so much fun, and it's good to know that somebody else is as deprived as I am.
Depraved or
Yeah,
deprived?
depraved, not deprived.
I was like, both actually are true, but
Probably.
we're not really watching anything good. There's been a drought,
know.
and
This is what happens to your brain when you don't keep watching horror movies.
it's true. I mean, you guys heard me. I can't even English right now, so.
Well, obviously I can't either.
But that's it for today, guys. You heard the plan. Talk to you later.